Hi, this is Dr. Peter Montgomery, and I'm going to talk to you about the Aging is Optional diet. This is the simple version. I have more complex versions where we break it down into intermittent fasting and even completely vegan options. But this is a simple version, so I'm going to get straight to it. The focus of my diet plan is on the fiber. The fiber is your friend. And the average American eats only 15 grams of fiber a day. We're recommended to get 30 grams of fiber, and even if you don't follow all of my recommendations, I definitely got you covered at well over 40 grams of fiber. Fiber keeps you full. Fiber is constantly in contact with your intestinal wall, telling you you're full. There is something there. Fiber expands when it gets wet, so as you drink water with it, it'll make you feel more full. Fiber is a sponge. It soaks up bad things. It soaks up unnecessary cholesterol that your body's trying to get rid of. It is soaking up poisons and toxins and showing them the door. It locks them up. It's like the bouncer in the bar and says, "You're leaving with me." Fiber is broken down partially by your gut bacteria, and it feeds them. People say, "Well, eat fiber, my gut gets upset." You eat fiber, your gut feels better, because the bacteria in there is being fed. If they're in a fed state, they give off chemicals that are good for us. Now, at first, one of those chemicals is methane. And yes, as you first start taking more fiber in your diet, the bacteria is going to make more methane, and you're going to fart a bit more the first few days. You're going to have a little bit more flatulence. That stops in a few days, definitely within a week, as you get to a new steady state of healthy fed bacteria. Healthy fed bacteria will break down other things in the fiber, other things in your food. It'll break down the phthalates and the lectins and release even more vitamins. And when you feed the gut bacteria, you fix many gut problems. Leaky gut syndrome is fixed because it's caused by unhealthy gut bacteria. The constipation is fixed because holding onto the water softens the stool, keeps the trains moving on time. Diarrhea is fixed because the soaking up the extra water and grease makes the stool more consistent. Irritable bowel is basically going back between constipation and diarrhea because you're inconsistent with your fiber intake. A lot of people with irritable bowel say, "Well, I eat too much fiber, it gets worse." Well, don't do too much at once. Slowly build up the fiber consistently, and your irritable bowel syndrome will be improved dramatically. All these bowel problems are fixed with high fiber diets. Just be sure to start low and slowly build up. It is a maintenance diet. I am focusing on maintenance here. This is 1,800 calories. This is maintenance for most people. The more muscle mass you have, the more you burn calories faster. Men might need 2,000 calories if they have a lot of muscle mass. Women might need 1,600 calories because they have less muscle mass. It is the cruel irony that men and women on the exact same calorie amount, the men will lose weight faster. They just have more muscle mass per pound. A 200-pound man has a lot more muscle mass than a 200-pound woman. This is a protein-correct diet. The high-protein diets are not ideal for us. Women need about 50, men need about 60 grams of protein a day for maintenance of your muscle mass, your organs, your tissues, your skin, your hair, and your nails. You need to eat the right amount of protein. If you eat too much protein, we only store it as muscle. If you're not growing muscle, you have to get rid of it, and it gets rid of it through the kidneys. Getting rid of protein through the kidneys hurts the kidneys. If dumping out the protein that is so precious, it is actually damaging to the kidneys to have to clear it out, and that speeds up kidney disease. You go see a kidney specialist to try and keep you from going on dialysis. The first thing he's going to recommend is a low or normal protein diet for some people. So they'll get it down to when people get closer to dialysis, and people have gotten off of dialysis by eating extremely low protein diets, as it undoes the damage. So it's a calorie appropriate maintenance diet. It's a protein proper maintenance diet. It's the healthy amount of fiber to do all the good things that fiber can do, and it's a low sodium diet. A lot of my patients have congestive heart failure, extreme swelling in their ankles. They go on this diet, and very quickly, within a week, their swelling is going right down, and they're doing better. Their congestive heart failure is improved, and they can get off some of their water pills that are making them pee too much, which is again harmful and hard on the kidneys. So it's a maintenance diet. It's got more fiber. It's the appropriate nice low sodium. There's going to be lots of fruits and vegetables. On here, I'll say fruit and vegetable. That is an average of the 20 most common fruits and the 20 most common vegetables. On there, I have sections where there is starch. I call them high-calorie vegetables, and they are healthy. Starches are good for you. You must measure them. This is 1 cup of starch, 200 calories. I put them in the order that I like them. Pastas, rice, sweet potatoes are better than potatoes, and then corn. Why is corn last on the list? It's where we get high fructose corn syrup. It is a sugar that is too easily absorbed and processed. So we're better with the slower burning pasta and rice and sweet potato. And the pasta also has the advantage of adding some protein. So starches are fine. If you look at very thin, long-living populations, they tend to eat starches at every meal, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. There will be some form of starch. Look at the Japanese. They have noodles or rice at every meal, but they also measure them. Now, likewise, you also make a sumo wrestler by eating lots of starch, but they're having bowls of rice instead of a cup of rice. When it comes to weight loss, yes, cutting the starches and cutting the dessert is essential for losing the weight necessary. Study after study after study of people in locked-in situations show that men, women, big, small, young, and old, we lose weight when we get to 1,200 calories or less. And we really don't need to go much less than 1,200 calories to lose weight at a steady, even, healthy rate. Diets of 800 are faster but harder to follow and get proper nutrition. So I don't recommend anybody that's not under close medical supervision to go less than 1,200 calories a day for weight loss. And you do that simply by eliminating the starches and the dessert. My diet, I do have a snack built in, which is nuts, because studies of long-living people show they have a nut habit. It is just a habit. They will have a handful of nuts. This is a handful of nuts. Nuts have a lot of salt. Pick your nuts. Some are heavily salted, some are not. And tree nuts, peanuts, I just said nuts. This is particularly the Planters healthy nut. It could be any nuts. I like pistachios and walnuts the best. Dessert, everybody cheats, so hey, let's count it. Let's be honest. And so I like putting sugar in my coffee and creamer in my coffee, and I'm going to count it. And I have some chocolate every day, and I measure out my chocolate amount, and it adds up to about 300 calories of dessert, snack, lack of willpower, name it what you want here. They all have different protein, fiber, and sodium, so I left those question marks. If you're eating a really high salt, sodium-containing dessert and you're having problems with swelling, then I would correct that. If your dessert happens to have more fiber, okay. So average about 300 calories, that's enough for people to feel good and felt they had a little snack and a little break throughout the day. Water is very important to the diet. There's water each meal. There's water midday, water at the meal, water between the meal, water at the meal, water between the meal, water with the snack. This all adds up to about 3 quarts of water. Someone indoors in air conditioning, not sweating a lot, not having any vomiting and diarrhea, 2 quarts would be kind of the low end of what we need. Most of us need about 3 quarts. If you're sweating a lot, working out in the heat, you're going to need 4 quarts. If you're walking long distance in the desert, you're going to need 6 quarts or more. I can find no indications that anybody needs to drink more than that. There's some people who are drinking way too much water, and that can mess up your sodium levels and cause a brain fog and fatigue and just generally not feeling good as you're flushing out too many of your salts and minerals that you need. This is a quick summary of the Aging is Optional diet. Next video will be about how to actually get started on the diet and more details about it. Again, thank you very much. This is Dr. Peter Montgomery, and thank you for learning about the Aging is Optional diet.